Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Doni Wahyu Anggara and my student number is 18101072. So now I'm gonna tell you about the grammatical function. But before I tell you about the grammatical function, I will tell you about the introduction first. So this is the introduction. In this previous chapter, we analyze English sentence with PS rule. For the example, you can see that the PS rule. As we have seen, such PS rules allow us to represent the constituent the structure of the analysis of sentence. So there is grammatical function. How we can identify the grammatical function of a given constituent. Several tests can be used to determine grammatical function as we saw here. So you can see that. You can see the subject. They have two sentences with the same word, with the same predicator, but they have different meaning of this sentence. And the main difference comes from what serves as subject or object. Maybe that's all for me. So thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi everyone, I am Sophia Cahyani. I'm here to continue the material from my first speaker. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you about two things. The first one is about subject auxiliary inversion, and the second one is about direct and indirect object. First of all, I'm gonna explain to you about subject auxiliary inversion. What is subject auxiliary inversion? Subject auxiliary inversion refers to the phenomenon in English where the typical declarative words are the subject auxiliary verb is instead realized as auxiliary subject verb. This inversion occurs in yes or no question. For instance, question that seek an answer yes or no. For example, the kids in our class have arrived safely. Turn to yes or no question form using inversion become have in our class the kids arrived safely. And here the subject is the kids and the verb have is an auxiliary. If the sentence doesn't have an auxiliary verb, this type of simple inversion is not possible. Okay, let's move to direct and indirect object. Direct object is noun, pronoun, or group of words that tells who or what receive the action verb. Ask what or whom to the verb to find out the direct object sentence. For example, in number 14, his girlfriend bought this computer. The sentence in 16 can be turned into passive sentence in 17. As you can see in my slide, his girlfriend bought this computer for him turned into passive sentence in 17 become this computer was bought for him by his girlfriend. And jump to indirect object. An indirect object is noun or pronoun that receives the direct object in a sentence. Indirect objects are non-phrase and have the semantic rules of goal, recipient, or benefactor. Okay, here example in my slide. And the last is a indirect object can be passive, or same as a direct object. Like you can see the example in my slide. John gave the CDs to the boys. Become passive, the CDs were given to the boys by John. Thank you.
Predicative complement. Predicative complement completes the meaning of a sentence by giving information about a noun. For example, Michelle became an architect. Notice how an architect gives more information about the noun Michelle and how the verb became is used to link Michelle to that information rather than telling the reader about an action that was carried out. Predicative complements versus objects. A predicative complements are quite similar to objects. The difference is that predicative complements follow linking verbs and the objects don't follow linking verbs. The difference between objects and predicative complements can also be seen in the following contrast. John made a great dog. John made Kim a great doctor. Even though the italicized expression here are both noun phrase, they function differently. The noun phrase a great dog in A is the direct object, whereas the noun phrase a great doctor in B cannot be an object. It serves as the predicate of the object of Kim. For more clearly, in A, Kim is not a great dog. In B, Kim is a great doctor. Second is oblique complement. An oblique complement is a pronoun phrase or an adverb phrase which behaves like a complement. For example, John put books in the box. John talked to Bill about the exam. She reminded him of the last time they met. They would inform Mary of any success they have made. The italicized expression are neither objects nor predicative complements. They are called oblique complements. Oblique contrasts with the direct function of subject and object, and oblique phrases are typically expressed as pronoun phrase in English. Modifiers. Modifier is a word or phrase or clause which modifies other words in a sentence. To be specific, a modifier is either an adjective or an adverb. The adjectives modify the nouns, and the adverbs modify the verbs or the adjectives or the other adverbs. For example, the bus stopped suddenly. Shakespeare wrote his plays a long time ago. They went to the theater in London. The italicized expressions here are all optional and function as modifiers. This modifier specify the manner, location, time, or reason, among many other properties of the situation expressed by the given sentence informally. They are the how, when, where, and why.
In this topic, I will explain about the structure from a sentence. The first one is a pattern one. Before this, we have all studied about this structure. There are a simple sentence. The sentence is, the little cat devoured a mouse. The subject consists of two parts, namely noun phrase as a subject and verb phrase as a predicate. And in verb phrase, there is another noun phrase, but here noun phrase is as object, not subject. And the pattern 2, there are a complex sentence. The sentence is, John believed that the cat devoured a mouse. As represented here, each clause has its own subject and predicate. John is the subject of the higher clause, whereas the cat is the subject of the lower clause. We also can notice that there are two objects. The complementizer is the object of the higher clause, whereas the noun phrase is that of the lower clause. Next is not only noun phrase but also infinitival verb phrase and complementizer phrase can also function as a subject and object, like the example here. And the last is about this structure. The same goes for modifier. As not before, not only at verb phrase, but also phrase such as a noun phrase, subject, verb phrase, or proposition phrase can function as a modifier. Like the sentence here, the little cat devoured a mouse last night. Last night here as a noun phrase but function as a modifier.
Okay, my name is Roswan Zudi, the next speaker of 5 group, my student number 18101081. Hopefully you enjoy this video. Thank you very much. Okay, in this session I'm going to tell you about the definition of semantic roles. Semantic roles is the way to classification the argument of predicators, verb, and adjective into closed set of participants. It means that we have two classification the kinds of word in the sentence. It's a little bit same like syntaxis, the word, but in semantic role we look for the meaning and the purpose of word. And there are 9 kinds of semantic roles. And the first one is agent, the second is patient, third experiencer, fourth theme, 5 benefactive, 6 source, 7 goal, 8 location, 9 instrument. Okay, we continue the explanation. The first thing is agent. Agent is initiator of some action capable of acting with volition. Okay, for this example, there is a sentence: Rosie kicked the ball. Rosie as agent, kick as verb, the ball as theme. Why does Rosie as agent? Because Rosie is a person who initiator and who has a volition. Okay, so Rosie kick as verb or the action, and the ball as theme, the effect of the action, effect of the kick. Okay, thank you very much. That's all the explanation about my material. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.